Greetings survivors and friends, your old mate Shadowfrax here, back with the goods from this week's Rust development loot run, where today I'm taking a look at the all-new 300% wetter water in Rust and a peek at what else is coming down the pipe. But first, following on from last week's industrial crafting reveal, things continue to be subject to change. Just as predicted, and there have been a number of changes already, so let's go over them, shall we? You can now add adapters to small oil refineries, lockers and coffins. Sadly, there are no plans yet to let you hook mixing tables up to the system, but of course, this might change. I know a lot of you have been asking for that one, and I can't see why it wouldn't work, so my advice is to keep asking. Barbecues, composters, planters and hitches and troughs would be welcome too, if you ask me, but why not just let us stick adapters on everything? Trees, nodes, bears, other players, just cut out the middleman. You can now add up to 4 adapters to large furnaces and up to 4 on large wood boxes. Plus, it's now possible to daisy chain containers instead of having to link them via a splitter or combiner. With conveyors now being able to look beyond the first container in a chain, you can rotate splitters and combiners when placing with R. Wish we had that option on electrical stuff. Storage adapters now have little notification lights, with red flashing when an item's removed from the attached container and green when it gets added. You can have up to 12 filters on each container now. There will be on and off electrical inputs on the crafters soon, plus an extra slot inside for any cases where an item needs more than 4 components to craft. And although the exact speed that items will move through conveyors and get crafted in benches is still up in the air, there are a couple of new convars to let server owners control this, and they are server.conveyor move frequency and server.industrial crafter frequency, with the default for both currently being 5 seconds. Now, I know the prospect of this new system sparked a lot of imaginations in the community, mainly with regards to how it could be abused for fun and profit. This is generally the way it is with every new thing that gets added to Rust, and I did test out a few things on stream with the community last week, which threw up a few interesting possibilities. For instance, being able to evacuate loot to a more secure location in the event of a raid via an HBHF sensor or other method, which is a no-brainer. Keeping external TCs stocked up, pulling stuff straight out of large furnaces to storage inside your base to prevent theft, and the biggest one having to be keeping your main TC stocked up whilst also having it be completely sealed off, as it's currently possible to place pipes through walls. Now, this does sound pretty OP, except that there is a risk and reward thing going on here. For instance, if the attached conveyor gets destroyed through accident or otherwise, how are you going to reconnect it? Maybe you could access it from a shaft above. That's one idea, but some have suggested that you should only be able to run pipes through doorways. This is something that I believe will be monitored, and if it turns out to be too much fun, it'll get nerfed just like everything else in life. And talking of which, electric furnaces, although not using wood as fuel, also don't use wood as fuel, so therefore obviously won't produce charcoal as a byproduct. I'm not sure if this will change and we'll be able to cook a bit of wood in them if we need some, but I believe, like everything else I've just mentioned, between now and when the system's merged to the main game on Feb the 2nd, we've got a couple of weeks where it's still all subject to change. So stay tuned and keep giving feedback, including in the comments below, and if in the meantime you'd like to test this out for yourself, you'll find info in the description on how to opt into the branch that it's on. Now, one thing that's been sloshing around in the development back rooms for a few months is work on the next iteration of Rust's Water, and whilst it's not going to be ready for February's patch, it is currently also available to gawk at on the same branch as the industrial crafting stuff. I'm assured that performance is staying the same, but this should be a big visual upgrade, and although I don't have access to a full list of the differences, there are a number of observable improvements to note. The actual shoreline looks a lot nicer with sexier foam and caustics, the wave topography is more detailed and realistic it seems, and is affected by the weather now, with storms making everything more extreme and choppier the further out you go. The line between underwater and above water is much nicer to look at now and makes a lot more sense, and you should expect this system to include new improved boat physics when it arrives, which won't be next month, as I say, but sometime after that. Oh, hello, Grammar Horse.
Hello, yes, it's been a while, I know. Just wanted to say the smart alarm description still says it sends notifications to your phone. That's it, really.
Ah, good call. Well spotted. I'll send notifications to the team about it. Thanks. Speaking of the team, they are working on a lot of other things, including, as I've said before, such stuff as pets, building skins, new monuments, procedural cave systems, and weapon racks. But also, interestingly, not only remote control drones, but also remote control turrets. And it seems multiple people will be able to connect to the same remote control device, although only one will get to drive it. That's going to be fun. Spying on and possibly shooting the neighbours should be very interesting, but please let me know your thoughts on being able to do this. Oh, and don't forget, it's Trust in Rust this weekend, raising money for charity as well as including some Twitch drops. Keep an eye on the Rust blogs and social channels for more info. You are now a very up-to-date person indeed. Please drop a like and a sub, and you can support me directly if you like with super thanks via Patreon, YouTube memberships, or my merch store. You can also find me streaming on Twitch and keep up to date with my content on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group. Links are all below. I shall catch you all really soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. Trees, nodes, bears, other players, just cut out the middleman.